I couldn't see my hand in front of me that had my cup of tea. I couldn't see the chapati. The counter was gone. The kitchen was gone. So then that's when I started yelling for my partner. I was like, I can't see. Come here, babe, I can't see. And he came running into the kitchen like, what do you mean you can't see? It's like, I can't see. People tell me, oh, wow, I wouldn't have had children then if I was you.
What?
Yeah, people say that.
I would, what?
People say that, yeah. It's like, why'd you have children if you can't see?
You're kidding me right now?
Yeah, people say that. Because when I had my first child, you know, that happened with my vision. So they're like, oh, why did you have a second one if you can't see, if you have vision problem? You can't assume, blind people usually can't see anything anyway, so we'll just put Braille everywhere. Then where does that leave me? If something is in Braille and I can't read Braille, but maybe I'm undergoing a flare-up, so I can't see anything at all. So what do I do then? So it's a case of, you know, making things accessible in different ways, different formats of accessibility.
Hello, good morning, and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi, coming to you straight from back in East London. My people, I'm getting used to these names. I think I'm doing good. However, my guest today is someone I've followed for a while on Instagram, and even before I can start this conversation, this is her handle. Go check her out because she really inspires people. This conversation was not going to happen, but I told her there's no way I'm leaving London without letting you share your story with our audience, because she's a source of hope for so many people. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let her introduce herself. Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm a bit nervous.
Why?
I don't know, speaking is still a bit something I'm getting used to, but yeah, I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm actually seeing you in real life and everything. I'm such a big fan.
No,
Thank you so much.
I'm the one who is a fan. Just even before we start, can I just say I'm so grateful for the support that you've given our work.
Oh, thank you.
Every other time, you know, on the comment section, on Instagram, on our stories. Man, I'm so happy to have met you.
I'm so happy to have found you. I was very happy when I found your platform, and it's been a great source of inspiration and just generally staying connected with people for me as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, and you know, earlier on before we started, we were all making fun here because we tried guessing your age. Not that I'm gonna ask you to tell these people how old you are, but you are beautiful. You are such a gorgeous person. And right now, when you tell people you're a mom of two, do they go like, you're lying to us?
Sometimes,
yeah.
But I think it depends on the age, maybe, because I think it's when I say my oldest one's age, that's when people are like, whoa, what do you mean?
So you get that a lot.
I do.
No one believes that you're telling them your exact age. So we are not the only ones.
I don't tell people my age, but it's the mom of two with a 8-year-old part that's kind of hard to process.
Yeah. How are you though?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm doing great, you know.
Yeah, and you look lovely. I just want to start the conversation because, as I said when I was doing the intro, you've been a source of hope. Maybe, I don't know other people, but to me, even sometimes when I'm just a bit demotivated and I'm on Insta, I just scroll down and I see how you're demystifying so many myths and how you're just fighting and how you just kick in life. And I'm like, here comes the inspiration. And again, I'll just say 1,000 times, it's really nice to finally have a conversation with you. And I know you know the drill because you're such an amazing follower of our platform. So please take us through your story and also how life in London really is.
So my name is Sylvia, and I am a mom. First of all, the most important job in my life is that, you know, I'm a mom, and I'm visually impaired or blind. It sort of depends on how you see things, but I identify as both because I go back and forth. And I'm a digital creator. I am a writer. And I'm a disability advocate. So that's kind of who I am,
Okay.
kind of in a nutshell.
All right. So when you say your vision goes back and forth, does it mean sometimes you get to see completely and sometimes you don't get to see at all?
Yes, so sometimes I have an eye condition called uveitis, and it's inflammation. So sometimes when the inflammation cells sort of increase, I can only have light perception, which means I only know if the lights are on or off.
Okay.
And that's in my left eye, which is the only one I can see with. So sometimes, that happens, and then other times I can see, and I have 5%. Again, just in the left eye, which to me is sufficient. It's more than enough. I feel like I can really see with my, my 5%.
Yeah. Man, it's the gratitude towards the small things in life. Because someone would be like, 5%, what am I going to do with 5%? But you're here appreciating the 5%. Gratitude, Spacer?
It's because I know what it's like to be on both sides. So I appreciate what I have. Even when I can't see, I still appreciate the other ways I can connect with the world and communicate with people regardless. I think being present and appreciating what you have now is the most important thing you can ever learn to do in your life.
Yeah.
Because it made all the difference for me anyway.
Okay. Now, feel free. The floor is yours. Take over. Please take us through your story.
Right. So I was born in Kenya, Nakuru to be specific. And I grew up for a certain portion of my life. I was about 12 when I moved permanently to London.
Yeah.
And my eye problem, or my eye condition, let's say, my eye condition, we don't really want to call it a problem.
Because it's not really.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed when I was 6 years old, and when the doctors diagnosed me, they told my parents, so she has this eye condition and she has 6 months left of her eyesight and she's going to be totally blind. So you need to find, there's this blind school or school for the blind, just put her there and, continue with life. But my parents kind of thought, okay, that's one way to go, but also maybe we can try other doctors and, try and get referrals. You never know. It could be something, somebody else can do. And one thing sort of led to another, different doctors. And I remember there's one doctor in Nairobi who had connections with the hospital here in London, Moorfields. And I'm not sure how it went because obviously I was tiny. But from what I've been told, eventually I was referred here because they said they had a procedure that they could do only in my left eye because my right eye was completely gone by then. So I came over here. I had an operation and it was so exciting for me. Obviously, I get on a plane for the first time. I get to come to London. I had long braids all the way down my back, basically.
Oh yeah.
My mom made sure, I looked really nice to come to London. But so yeah, I was here for I think a few months. I'm not sure how long. And I had the operation and the follow-up and everything. And I remember the first thing that they did after they took off my bandage, they took me over to a window and they asked me, I remember it was my doctor and my dad that was standing there, and they asked me, so what can you see? Just look out the window and what can you see? And just then an airplane went by and I heard it first, but then I looked up and I could actually see it. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, it's an airplane and I can see it, oh my gosh. Which was exciting for my dad as well, obviously, because my vision had gone really bad by then. Basically, I spent a long time, went back to Kenya, because I'm not in Kenya now. And I kind of spent the next few years between 6 and 12 going back and forth, coming here, going back to Kenya for treatment. Then I had doctors in Kenya as well who treated me. But of course, eventually we just decided, okay, not we, my parents, I don't get to decide. But they just basically decided, let's just relocate for proximity, just so she's next to her eye doctor. And in case of anything, she's right there. If we need to do any kind of procedures. And so we moved here. And everything was okay with my vision. I wore glasses. I was okay. I went to school. Everything was normal, except for this one time. I woke up in the morning, got ready for school like normal. But when I noticed when I was waiting for my bus, the number looked a bit blurry. Like I couldn't tell what bus it is until it got to right in front of me. So me being me, I just got on the bus and went to school and struggled the whole day. And then when I went back home, I told my mom, there's something going on. Like it's a bit blurry. Like it's just a bit, nothing to worry about. It's a bit blurry. But my mom obviously took me straight away to the doctors, which was the good thing about being here. They took me to Moorfields, and I was admitted, and I was in hospital for, I think, 48 hours. And I was on medication that they had to put in every hour, 24 hours a day, basically. And I got better from that, and I was okay all the way up until I was an adult and I had a child. And then everything went, south. So I had a very decent, there was nothing to write home about with my pregnancy. And when I had my firstborn, I was okay. Like it was a bit of it was a long labor, let's put it that way. It was a long journey. I didn't expect that, although you never really know what to expect with childbirth. And then 7 days after he was born, everything went blurry, and more blurry than the one I remember when I was a child. I was looking at him and I couldn't see him. And again, me being me, I tried to continue as normal, but obviously I couldn't. So eventually my mom noticed, and she took me to the doctors straight away. And I was in A&E for, it was a good long wait in A&E, because none of the doctors really wanted to deal with my eye. They call it a complicated eye. So they just wanted my consultant or my specialist to deal with me. So I was in the hospital at A&E, and the whole time I was thinking, I just want to go home. Like I was breastfeeding. When you're breastfeeding and you don't breastfeed the baby, it becomes, when the milk, I guess, gets full, it's really painful. Very. So I was in that pain, and then I'd had a C-section. So I was also in, pain from the surgery and everything, because this is just 7 days post-surgery and everything. But I just wanted to go home. I was thinking, I don't have time for this. I need to be at home with my child, my new baby that I'm so excited to have. I need to be at home, but obviously I couldn't be. So they sort of increased my medication to a level that had not been done before, apart from when I was a child with the surgery. And I remember asking them, so when can I breastfeed again? Like when, because obviously with that medication I can't. And I guess they don't really want to make a big disaster out of what is already a bit disastrous. So the doctors kind of told me, maybe in about 2 weeks, let's just see how things go. Or, maybe in about a month. Like I kept asking, because I had to go in every week. But obviously I never got to breastfeed again. They just kind of couldn't tell me that, because they don't want a whole, I don't know, it's patient care. You never got to
breastfeed again?
No, I mean, not my son anyway. That was the end. So 1 week and that was it. But within about 6 weeks, my vision came back to a decent level, but it wasn't how it was before. It was considerably blurry, but I kind of managed it, I kind of adapted to the new vision that I had. And I just remember staring at my son, looking at his eyes, because I missed a big gap. Like he was a newborn with his eyes mostly closed, and he wasn't doing much. But when I could see again, his eyes were sharp and focused, and he was looking at me, and I was just looking at his hands and just everything, just examining him, because I hadn't really seen him, or I hadn't seen the growth. But so everything worked out okay with that. I was okay for a while, I had my second child that worked out fine. I had a minor flare-up when she was 6 weeks, but it wasn't too bad.
How
it was
the support like from your husband? Because here you are, you know, your mom, you can breastfeed your baby, and then here you go back and forth, there's hopes, and then our hopes have been taken away, and then there's him, and then there's the children. How was it like for him?
He definitely really stepped up. He really stepped up, and so did the whole family. It's like a rota of sorts. Everybody stepped up. His family and my family, we're all family anyway. Our family, our family really stepped up, and everyone was taking turns helping out where they can. And obviously, with my firstborn, he had to be bottle fed, so it became more of a joint effort, really, rather than one person having to do the whole feeding and everything, which works out well in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah. How was it like for you? Because, you know, childbirth comes with other, like, you know, here you are, you're struggling. A lot of people that have dealt with, they got postpartum depression. How was that like for you? What would keep you going?
So I definitely had some hard days. Obviously, you know, babies are babies, and especially the first child, although they're all different really, but I think with the second one, at least, you know, you kind of know what to expect. But I had some really tough days, but I kind of just kept going. Like I had a feeling that it would just get better, I would just learn. It's just a case of learning, and me and him connecting as well. And I had so much support from my family as well. Like I knew if I ever needed anything, I just needed to ask one of them and they'll be right there. So
Beautiful. That's nice, because we were earlier on, we were talking about how beautiful it is to have a support system as compared to other people who things are so like hard, but they don't have a support system, so you have to deal with so many struggles.
I'm so appreciative of all the people in my life, my family, even my friends actually with my firstborn, because my hospital visits were so frequent. I had actually some of my friends would come and stay with my newborn as well while I'm in the hospital. I've been very fortunate, really and truly, and I think a lot of my strength is down to how I have so much support, so much love around me and everything. I just feel comfortable to be who I am. So
you feel comfortable to be who you are. Did you ever ask questions like, God, why me? Why is this happening? Did you ever ask questions?
I didn't.
Really?
I didn't. I don't think I ever got to the point of thinking, oh, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? I think my focus, I think the way my mind is set up, it's that let's get past this. This too shall pass. This is happening now, but it's going to get better. And this is happening. How can we make it better? You know, this is happening. What can you do to help yourself and to help the situation? Because I think when I dwell in what's happening, it's really not going to help, and it's not going to make a difference, and it only serves to make the whole situation worse for everybody, because everybody else would be worried about me too, apart from me being in a bad state. So I just kind of focus on this will pass, let's get through it, and
that's beautiful. This too shall pass, let's get through it. And so you continued getting through things, and then here comes your second born.
So I had my second born. Everything was okay up to that, you know, the minor flare up in, you know, when she was 6 weeks. This time we were very quick to act, including me. The second I noticed any kind of oddness in my vision, I let my family know. And again, everyone on a rota. It's like, I think we have a routine now. Anything happens with my vision, everyone's all hands are on deck. Like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So so basically everyone was told, okay, this is happening. She's going to the hospital. Everyone's like, okay, so I'm going to do this. It's like almost a military operation at this point. I went to the hospital. It wasn't that bad. I think I was okay within about a week or two, and life continued. However, I thought I was done. But okay, as a mom, I count my time with how old my children are. So my youngest was 9 months, and my older one was 4.5-ish. And I had like what was a normal day. Like we took my son, my older one, to school, came back, did the usual routine and everything. All the children are in bed. And then I thought, I'm a little bit hungry. Let me go and look for one cheeky evening snack. And I went to get a cup of tea and a chapati, my favorite thing ever to eat.
You love chapati?
I love chapati. It's like, it's my favorite thing. But so I went to do that, made a cup of tea, got the chapati, warmed it up because I wanted it warm this time. Like the preparation, like I'm so ready I was so excited to have the snack. And then I go to pick up my cup and I pick it up. So I reached to pick up, this is from the kitchen counter. I reached to pick up my chapati, and then suddenly like something happened. Like I first started seeing what I would call like static. And that I was like, this is odd. And then the static developed into like, there was a haze on top of the static, a haze. It wasn't a blur, just a mild haze. I was like, just this, I think this happened maybe in like a few seconds, but when you're going through something, it feels like it's happening in slow motion. So the haze happened and I was like, So I was still, about to pick up the chapati, still thinking, this is odd, but I need to go and sit down and eat. And then it got worse. The haze increased and increased and increased until there was nothing in front of me. I couldn't see my hand in front of me that had my cup of tea. I couldn't see the chapati. The counter was gone. The kitchen was gone. I looked around the kitchen where I know there's like a cupboard, no cupboard. I looked where there should be a white wall. I guess no white wall because, I can't see any of it. So I put my cup down because this time I'm still in shock. So I put my cup down and I held out my hand in front of me like this and nothing. So then that's when I started yelling for my partner. I was like, I can't see, come here, babe, I can't see. And he came running into the kitchen like, what do you mean you can't see? It's like, I can't see. Like, can you see me? I'm like, no, I can't see you. So he took me over to the stairs and sat me down. And this is when, honestly, I actually broke down. Like I had a bit of a breakdown. I was hyperventilating. I was crying. I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is it. My vision is gone. That's the end, So he asked me like, can you see me? I'm like, no, I can't see you. Do you know if the lights are on or off? Yeah, the lights are on. Okay, so at least we have something. So we called my mom because, I don't know, I guess it's because she's my mom. Like she's, raised me. She knows my eye condition and everything. So we called her to think, okay, what do we do? What do we do? So instead of me having my tea and chapati, I went hospital hopping. The whole night, going from one hospital to another to try and find out what's going on. We went to regular hospitals again, like last time. They don't want to mess with my situation. So we went to Moorfields in the morning now because the A&E at night, which by now we know. Now I know. Now in this, today. Now we know, do not bother going at night. No doctor will touch me anyway, for me anyway. So we went to Moorfields in the morning and still to A&E because you can't just waltz in and, see your consultant. And so they sent me over to my consultant immediately. They didn't waste any time. And same thing, medication for a while, a lot of medication. And this time it took a little bit longer. It was maybe about 3 months or so before my vision came back to, I guess, how it is now, which is now, this 5% situation. And then the flare-ups have just been coming since then, but it's, like I said, it's now a military operation. We all know what to do. We know the drill. Flare-up, okay, you come do this, you come do that. And that's just kind of how we cope now, I guess,
Wow. Was that like the first time in your life you got so emotional?
About my eyes, yeah, definitely. The first time with my son, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I was in mummy mode. I don't know what happened there, but I was very okay. I just kind of got on with it. But yeah, when it happened that time, it was in 2019. When it happened in 2019, it was definitely a shock. I thought that was the end of it, basically. I thought, okay, so now officially I've lost all my vision and that's it. It's just the way it happened, I think. It's the way, usually maybe I'd sleep and wake up and, oh, things are a bit blurry, but it's the way it kind of disappeared in front of me. That was a whole new experience.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, my eye's tired now, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely was the first time I got emotional.
Yeah. I want to go back to accepting things the way they are and knowing these too shall pass. What, and you said, I'm just going to have to learn and relearn things. What kind of changes did you have to make in your life just to keep moving?
So I didn't really make too many changes at first, but after this flare-up, now this one in 2019, I learned how to walk with my symbol cane. I was still my daughter was 9 months, obviously she was still a baby, so I was still fully changing her diapers, dressing her up, making her bottles, feeding her. I was still doing everything to the best of my ability because humans adapt, you just find a way to do what you need to do. And then what I've learned also since then is how to use my long cane, which is, the cane that's long with a ball thing that rolls on the floor at the end. So I've learned how to use that so that I can be completely independent, even, with no vision at all. I've also recently acquired this cane, which I'm so excited about. I don't know if I went online and had to tell everybody about it. I was shouting at the rooftops about it. It's called a guide cane, and it's made all the difference for me. It's literally the perfect thing for me because I don't have enough vision to use a symbol cane. I'm still going to bump into people and things and trip and all that. But I have enough vision, so I don't need the long cane. It doesn't make sense for me to use it. So I've got this guide cane, which is match made in heaven for me. Like, I'm so happy I have it. And it just kind of hovers above the floor and tap things. But apart from the mobility stuff, I started learning Braille the other day, although it's not, in this 2022, it's really not a necessity.
Oh, really?
There's so much technology you can use.
Really?
So
it's not like such a big deal.
No, it's not. There's so much technology you can use.
How do you deal with sympathy, and why do you prefer empathy to sympathy?
So it took me a while. It was a lot of work to get to where I am, and in terms of how to respond to sympathy, because initially it really used to actually annoy me, like most people, actually, most visually impaired or disabled people, or anybody in a situation that they can't help. Sympathy tends to get to their wrong sort of side for them. And it took me a while to get to a point where I also understand where that person is coming from. They're coming from a place of not really knowing how to deal with the situation themselves. So the way I receive sympathy at the moment is explain that that's not what we need. What you need is to understand my situation, understand where I'm coming from, but not to say, oh, oh, that's so sad, oh no, kind of thing. Instead, maybe try and ask, if you want to help me, ask me if I need any help, not just assume I need the help. If you want to find out more about me, also remember that I am a person and I might not want to volunteer so much of my information, of my, I guess, my condition to everybody. It's not everybody has the right to know. Just because somebody is disabled, you don't have the right to know what happened to them.
Do you think we make that assumption when we see an able, different person? We are so quick to want to find out what happened to you. Like, it's like we think, as you said, you have the right to volunteer that information. Do you think we assume so much?
Yeah, definitely. But it's down to education, you just have to know, well, everybody like me and other disabled people as well, and advocates as well, and even you, Lynn, now. Once you know, you let everybody else know, as many people as possible. And it's a case of people knowing. It's really not, if somebody doesn't know, that it's not okay to do certain things or to say certain things, then they don't know. But there's also a difference between deliberate ignorance and ableism and, genuinely not knowing. If someone has a genuine willingness to know and to learn more and, to be aware, then that's really good.
You hate when people feel sorry for you?
Oh yeah. I really don't like it, but again, I've just learned how to deal with it.
You mentioned, you coming here in the UK was easier, matters, health, medication, and that. Looking back home, what do you think would change, especially for people who are abled differently?
So this is something as well I've been thinking about, because as much as I'm struggling to adapt here with my vision, it's still not where it could be. It's everything here is still not where it could be. Everywhere you go, in terms of accessibility, transport, everywhere, school, everything. So I have not grown up in Kenya. So I am not too sure about how things are there. But I think we could all learn from each other, and the best way to learn what we need is to ask us, is to hear from us. And that would just improve everything. You'll know what to do. You can't assume, blind people usually can't see anything anyway, so we'll just put Braille everywhere. Then where does that leave me? If something is in Braille and I can't read Braille, but maybe I'm undergoing a flare-up, so I can't see anything at all. So what do I do then? So it's a case of, making things accessible in different ways, different formats of accessibility, and just learning and educating yourself on that, really.
Why was it important for you to create awareness?
I think it's basically because of how I have grown up, I suppose. I, with my right eye, I couldn't see from it since, childhood as well. So I had, obvious struggles with that as well. And then when my left eye started, going up and down, it also became a big issue. So I think I kind of struggled with understanding it myself. And if this was information that was just easily accessible, then I would be aware, I would be okay, I would know what to do. Oh, I can get this support, I can do that. I would just know what to do. But because people don't really know, and very few people really talk about it, then when you're going through it, especially in adulthood, and even as maybe a parent of a child going through this, or a family member, you yourself don't really know how to help that person. So that's why I kind of started doing what I do. And also to encourage other people like me, just to kind of show them there is a way. It's not the end of the world. You can still follow your dreams. If you're blind, maybe you can't be a pilot and drive, but it's okay. You can do other things, You're still a person of value. And that's kind of the main reason I started.
Now let's talk about your videos that make me very happy. So we dance a lot.
Yeah, we do.
We dance a lot.
We do, whether or not we follow the beat. We don't know where the beat and the melody is or whatever. We just do it. We don't know the right moves.
Sometimes we are off the beat.
Almost. I almost catch the beat and then I lose it. It's okay. We have fun.
Those are cool videos though. Is it some form of therapy for you?
It definitely is. Like even me and my children, we just kind of jump around. I call it free movement. Yeah, just enjoy yourself. Dance like nobody's watching. Even though in my case, it kind of is like nobody's watching, but just, yeah, be free, be yourself, do what you love doing. For me, it's the dancing, it's writing, it's being creative, it's playing around with my children. Just do what you love and, you know, you'll be happy.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've had to have a sit down with the kids just to explain to them, do they ask you questions?
Yeah.
What do they ask?
So I had a flare-up earlier this year. So I had 2 flare-ups. I had one in December and then I was okay for a week, and then a big, huge one again in January. And that time we really did have to sit down and speak with the children because it affected our schedule so much. Because one of them was already in full-time school and everything, and they could generally, you know, they're more grown, so they understand more of what's happening, and they can see, oh, why is mommy no longer the one who's taking me to school? You know, why do we have to walk with other people when we're going to such and such a place? So I did have a sit down with my son, and I think there isn't just one conversation. Until today, I still have conversations with him because he still has so many questions every day. But I did tell him, you know, okay, so I am visually impaired or I'm blind, and sometimes I can't see at all, and sometimes I can. So this is what it would be. This is what I would need from you. So particularly in the last flare-up, it was just light perception for a while, and then I got better and better. And as I got towards the end, or I guess towards the part where I could see now, he kept asking me, so can you see this? So can you see this? So can you see this? So I told him, if you smile, right, your teeth are very bright. So if you smile, I can see where you are. And then if you wear bright colors, also I'm able to spot you. And he's like, how do you see me? And I said, well, you know, you are right now, he was wearing something green. Right now you are green. So that's what I can tell. You are green. And if I see a green mass moving around, I know it's you. So what he did, every day he would go upstairs and get dressed after his, you know, his bath and everything, and come back to me and give me a hug and say, Mummy, I'm wearing mine. And then he would describe what he's wearing. And it's got this pattern and this pattern. Do you want to touch it? And I'm like, yes, of course. And then I would have a feel, and he'd be off on his way. So he kind of got into that routine and he adapted to that. My daughter, she's still a bit young. She's still a bit young. But she noticed when my vision came back, like she just one day sat down and said, Mummy, your eyes are working now. And I said, yeah, my eyes are working now. And she said, did you get glasses from the doctor? And I was like, yeah, sure, because it's hard to start getting into the details of how it works. So they understand to a degree. They've stopped trying to use my canes as lightsabers now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they used to play with them and everything, but now they leave me to it, basically. Even when we're walking, I can hold it peacefully. They don't want to take turns anymore. So,
that's amazing that they are all involved. What are 4 things you wish people would stop saying to abled different people?
Okay, so that's a tough question, Lynn.
And your mocha is getting cold.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's from Greg's.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it? But 4 things, let me think. Number 1, I think it would be not immediately asking what happened to you. You know, that question is not always very welcome. Number 2 is, okay, in my case, number 2 in my case is people tell me, oh, wow, I wouldn't have had children then if I was you.
What?
Yeah, people say that.
What?
People say that, It's like, why'd you have children if you can't see?
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, people say that. Because when I had my first child, you know, that happened with my vision. So they're like, oh, why did you have a second one? If you can't see, if you have vision problems. I mean, I don't know. It's down to, I guess, just not knowing how to interact with people.
No, I don't think that's it. I just think that's plain weird.
I mean,
no, I don't even think there's an excuse for like that question. Like, nah, there's no excuse why someone should actually ask such a question.
Like I said, I've gotten to a point where I can cope with, or rather, I've learned how to deal with most comments anyway. So nothing much phases me anymore.
Yeah.
And let me think, what else?
Number three.
I think there's also people just assuming that because I am blind, I can't do anything at all. Like I can't have a job, I can't look after children, I can't go from point A to point B. So yeah, there's that as well. Like I think people just need to understand. Yeah.
And the last one?
Ooh, I have to think.
They have to stop thinking you can't dance. Okay, that was mine. Now yours, number four.
Number four, okay. I have to really think about that.
Okay.
One.
Yeah.
Can we come back to that?
Yeah, we can come back and trust you me, I'll remember. But let's go back to the 5%.
Yeah.
So when you say 5%, some people will be wondering, can she like see at all, or what does the 5% mean?
So yeah, I totally understand. I mean, I actually had to go and calculate because I know my vision according to the measurements that doctors do. So I have to go and calculate it to figure out what percentage that is for me to even try and help people understand. So it's also different depending on the eye condition. So 5% for me is 1 meter, anything more than 1 meter in front of me is a blur. Anything at all, like it's not clear. I can't tell you in detail what it is. And some things, even no matter how close they get, I still can't tell you in detail. So for example, somebody's face would have to be at least a few inches away from my face, maybe 1 foot or less, for me to figure out who they are. So the way I mark people is, okay, you know, like I told you with my son earlier, so like my sister today, she's white. she's got white trousers or something. Like I can see a white. So I mark people like that. Like once I've met people and heard their voice as well, apart from the voice, there's marking what they're wearing, which becomes a color for me. So I know I can track them even 2 or 3 meters in front of me. I know who it is. But my vision works in that it's just blurry. Some people have conditions where they can see what they call like a straw, like a pin sort of, like a straw basically. So they have one tiny section that everything is clear. They can even see all the distance and everything. So it's difficult to tell how much somebody can see because of their eye condition. So the percentage thing is kind of to help with understanding, really.
I love that. We're still going to come back to number 4, but before I even wind up, London, this place is cold. I hear this is not even the coldest. It's gonna be so cold, but I love it. What do you love about this place?
Well, I've grown up here, so for the most part anyway. I love that I have access to so many things and so much information and everything. You do kind of need to know where to go look and everything, but I love that I can just step out my front door and go to the hair shop. We haven't shown you the hair shop. There's a hair shop here, you know, in this area. You can go to the library. There's this place as well, which is really nice. There's so many different ways that I can socialize personally anyway. And I love that there's a community as well. You have to find them. You have to look really hard to find them.
Yeah.
But once you do, you kind of find your people,
Yes.
and you all kind of support each other and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So for me, I found the local sensory team, and they hold like events and everything, and little meetings and everything. So that's what I really love about it.
Yeah. Talk to me about the benefits for an different person here in the UK.
Okay, so there's a lot of support, but also you kind of need to know that it's there. It's not necessarily something you just know.
Yeah.
But with the good thing nowadays is there's the internet.
Yes.
So anything you need to know, you just go and search, but
Yeah.
you kind of need to know where to search. It's also, like, we also do need to mention that it's not everybody is able to get the information that they need to get. It's not reaching everybody that it needs to reach, which is one of the reasons also that I do the work that I do. I'm a committee member for a sight loss sort of charity that spreads the word and tries to reach people who would normally not know where to go to get support and everything.
Yes.
So I would say specifically the BAME community as well. And it's a culture thing also. Maybe some people don't really want other people to know that they have a condition or a situation. So yeah, it's kind of, it's hard to get information for some people, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. And now to one of my famously asked questions. What keeps you going?
The easy answer would be my children. That would be the easiest answer. But with my children comes a lot of other things that I need to do so that I can keep going for them. So I keep raising awareness because of my children. I keep pushing myself to do better and better every day because of my children. I don't want them to be in a world where, their mom is someone who's ostracized from society, you know, and by default they would be too. I want them to feel like, empowered and part of society and everything. So I do everything I do for my children, just so they live in a better world. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And now before we wind up and you give my people a parting shot, is there anything you think we should have touched on that we've not touched on?
Yeah, so I think it's important to understand, society as it is, that there are things that can be done, and it's important to empower people with disabilities and, see them as people, as real people of value and everything. So yeah, I think that's really the main thing I would say. Yeah,
and not make them feel like they're lesser human beings, because they're not.
They're not. I mean, we're not. We're not. And I think also, if you have a disability, if you have a condition, any condition that makes you sort of that gives you difficulties or challenges with society, you should just take heart. You can still be who you are. Just keep trying. Think of something else you can do. You have other, you have value. There's something you must love doing. So do that.
You have value.
Yeah.
There's something you must love doing.
Yeah.
So I think we should make that our quote. You have value. There's something you must love doing. So do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for just being so, just granting us this interview. As I said, there's no way I was going back without having this conversation. And obviously, I know my people will be like, she's amazing. Where can we find her? So where can these people find you?
So I am on Instagram
Yeah.
and TikTok.
Yes.
I'm on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'll give you my email address
Oh,
as well.
yeah. Go on.
So my name is hard. I don't know. I think you might want to just display on the screen, but it's She Has Vision.
Yes.
You can literally look up She Has Vision and
Yeah.
you'll find me everywhere.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah. And the other thing I do as well is I can't say which companies at the moment, but I do consult on accessibility and inclusion as well. So I've had the opportunity to work with big tech companies as well. So I think anybody can do with that sort of, with inclusion, with training, staff training as well, educational institutions, a business, anybody really. So if you need any training, if you need any more information, I'm here, and my information will be with Lynn.
Right here. I like how you trust me with the information. You know, your information is going to be with Lynn.
Yeah.
Right here on the screen. I love that. I love that. What would be your parting shot to our audience?
So,
especially someone who is watching you and they're a bit broken. Someone who is watching you and they're like, man, this is it for me. You know, they're demotivated. What would you like to tell them?
I just would like to say that things can be a bit difficult. Like in that particular moment, things can be a bit difficult. But if you look within you, you'll find that there's something that you love doing. There's something that you kind of trust yourself to do. And if you focus on that, just focus on the things that make you happy, the things you enjoy doing. And before you know it, time will go by. It won't be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but time will go by and you will be the best version of yourself. Just focus on being the best version of yourself, really.
And you have value and there must be something you can do.
Exactly.
So do it.
Exactly.
Thank you, dear, for welcoming us and just gracing us this opportunity to be able to sit and have a conversation with you. Feel free. You are welcome. Yes. I don't want you to have it when it's like super cold. Yeah, and also I hope next time, do you come to Kenya often?
I haven't been there for a while, but the goal is to start being more frequent.
Yeah, because you miss Kenyan food.
I do, but we have Kenyan food here.
And not the same taste. Not the same taste. Not the same taste.
You haven't had our cooking.
Matumbo here tastes way better than home.
Okay.
So I don't know which matumbo that is, but I'm doubting it's the real one. But anyways, what do I know? But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to this conversation. And as always, on the comment section, I would love to know what your take home has been, especially for everyone that was looking for a bit of motivation here and there. I just want to know in the comment section, what do you think? And of course, if you would want to reach out to my guest, her contact details, her email details and her social media handles are right here on the screen. And as always, if you want to share your story with me, my email is right here on the screen. Our time in London is slowly coming to an end, but I cannot tell you how amazing this place has been. We have interviewed a lot of people who have inspired us with their stories. And I hope as you've kept watching, you've also been inspired. To all the partners that have made this trip possible, we want to say thank you to TapTap, and of course to our amazing host Lydia Tate on later for letting us continue impacting one life at a time. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Till next time, bye-bye.